but I was always a fan. Enough about WE though. Let's talk about Vici and Rogue Warriors as we jump into draft here. The Nidalee ban has started to become a staple, but especially against Lien, you got to get that off the board.
Yeah, but the thing I'm surprised about for Rogue Warriors, they've also showed they really don't like playing against LeBlanc, and that has been Zeka's best champion. And we just saw iBoy play Kalista as well and get 2 MVPs in their last series, so you have a lot of things you need to take off the table against Rogue Warriors. Now that Vici taken off the Aphelios, I would expect it to be the Kalista.
And I love that Aphelios ban coming out from Vici as well, basically saying, look, we don't really want to play Aphelios. We don't really want Aphelios in the game, so I like this actually from Rogue Warriors. Instead of saying we're going to ban the Kalista, just ban the support that goes best with it.
Yeah, so their show, and it makes sense because ZWuJi is willing to play the Kalista itself, so just saying, hey, we're fine with giving you the champion, just not the combo that your support is very potent and feels comfortable with. So we do still have the Ashe open, the Ezreal there as well. But I like the Ashe a lot more. We've seen it have a lot more proactive options here in the LPL.
And I think that is really important that Vici drafts something proactive in this series. Against a team like Rogue Warriors, you know they're going to be aggressive, you know they're going to try and make things happen, but also this Ashe, very much a takeaway from ZWuJi. This is most played AD carry this split, and it's been something that we've seen a lot of success for him on.
Yeah, and when he hasn't gotten on the Ashe recently, we keep seeing him go towards the Lucian. He actually picked it up both games against EDG, and it's not working. I don't think I want to see the Lucian again. Just go towards the Kalista yourself. Obviously, Kalista Thresh very strong. Sure, you're gonna get slowed by the Ashe, which obviously hurts Kalista a lot more. But I don't think ZWuJi has looked like a very good Ezreal player, and it doesn't fit the way Rogue Warriors like to play this split.
Yeah, we'll see. There's also things like the Kai'Sa available to ZWuJi if he does want to dip further into the AD carry pool. You know, I thought they were going to go for it for a split second. I don't know why. It's going to be LeBlanc here for Ruby.
Yep, so to me, it's a lot more of a takeaway from Zeka than it is a pick for Ruby. He has played it 2 games, but hasn't really looked that good on it, right? He's a lot more synonymous with the Azir, with the Zoe, these champions that play for more of mid and late game team fights. So, but the great thing about this is they're setting up for some early aggressive plays coming out from mid jungle or mid support.
Yeah, and also it's a takeaway from Zeka, right? So I actually quite like this, and I'm excited to see if Ruby can have a bit more of an impact on this LeBlanc pick. We've got the Volibear. Typically in the LPL, it's a top laner, but Lien loves this pick in the jungle, so keep your eyes on that. It's very much a flex for Vici Gaming, as they're going to be looking towards their mid laner next.
And like you just said, I completely expect it to go in the jungle. We actually haven't seen Cube pick it up yet this split. If Vici can get this, it is all about Lien because it is great in those early skirmishes and duels in River. Great for counter jungling and use your priority elsewhere. And we're already setting up a comp that has a lot of globals, right? We have Ashe Arrow coming in. We now have the ultimate coming out from Zeka as well. So they're really going to enable Lien's aggression into Haro's jungle.
The longer this draft goes on, the more insane value that Taric ban is getting, because this composition would love a Taric out of that bottom lane, just so that it can follow up on the crazy all-in. We talked about the Kalista pick here for ZWuJi, and it is going to be the lock-in. So now, as we move to the second phase here, what are you expecting the bans to be, Larry?
For the side of Rogue Warriors, so they're going to go towards Hung, and Hung is a lot more of a protection-based support, right? So the Taric, obviously, Tom, Kench, and Braum are other big ones. He's not this aggressive playmakers that we see out of a lot of other LPL players. So I actually do like the Braum ban coming in. Maybe something else you could look at is something like the Tom Kench if you want to target ban Hung specifically. But I think something like a Nautilus or Leona also looks very strong in their comp, just to give more engage with the Ashe and the Galio as well. Going to really help Lien getting to the back line.
Yeah, it's going to be the Kench remove, but Nautilus and Leona certainly thinks that he's played a ton of this split. But as you rightly say, he is very much, even when he's on these engaged supports, he's a bit more of a defensive player than some of our other supports in the league. Vici Gaming, though, they're going to be banning away junglers here. It's already Graves removed in the first phase. We've got Trundle removed now as well. And we'll see where they go with this final ban.
Yeah, it could be something like the Lee Sin when you already have the, so yep, there's the Lee Sin. When you have the LeBlanc, right, you want to pair it with a very strong early game 2v2 jungler, set up those kills in the mid lane, try to roam around the map, and especially when you have Kalista Thresh, right, set up for bot.
Yeah.
So maybe something like the Rek'Sai would be good for Haro, but hasn't been a champion we really have seen him play a lot of.
Haro's in a bit of an awkward position here because his top 4 junglers have been banned away so far in this game. The only one remaining that he's played this split is Set, and let's be honest, Set jungle has looked pretty terrible in the LPL. So Renekton, though, for Holder, which is pretty stable. We don't really need to talk about the Renekton that much.
Yeah, and it just feels like they're trying to give him an uncomfortable matchup. Obviously, the Volibear could still be flex for Vici, but I really doubt it. So it's actually strange to me that Rogue Warriors wouldn't just want to counter pick top. But, you know, Renekton's strong in pretty much every lane unless Cube's willing to pull out a Quinn, which definitely does not seem like Cube's style.
I guess he's going for a Jayce instead, which, I mean, that also doesn't really feel like his style necessarily, but he has played it once this split, so we'll see what Cube is going to be able to pull out in that matchup. It can be a great matchup as well if you're able to keep Renekton at arm's length.
Yeah, and their composition right now is set up for a very strong... They have a very strong pick composition. They have dive potential on both sides, of course, with Galio and Volibear. Bot lane will be a bit easier since you have that enchanted crystal arrow coming out, so I do expect Vici to put more attention on the bot lane.
So one of the things I really like about Vici's composition is there's a great many compositions we criticize in the LPL for not having enough engage. This composition definitely has engage on the side of Vici. They've got the arrow, they've got a Nautilus, they've even got a Volibear to just jump on forwards. Speaking of jumping forwards, Olaf comes through for Haro as the final pick, which definitely plenty of ways for him to just run at the enemy.
We talked about how Rogue Warriors love to be aggressive, and they might have picked the most aggressive champions possible in every single role, right? We have this lane bully top laner, sure, going to struggle in early laning phase against a Jayce, but at level 6 can all in him. We have very strong mid-jungle potential coming out as well, and Kalista Thresh probably the most aggressive 2v2 you could pick, bar something like a Draven.
Yeah, aside from maybe having a set alongside the Kalista, but I mean, Thresh, you could still flash play, you could still make a lot of plays down in that bottom lane. So this is very much a proactive game from both sides of the draft by the looks of things. And my big question going into this game is how are Vici going to be able to temper the aggression from Rogue Warriors? Because that very much seems like the win or lose strategy for every team against Rogue Warriors is, can you slow them down? Can you stop them from getting a snowball?
Yeah, but actually overall I like Vici's composition because Rogue Warriors really need to snowball this game. And it's not going to be hard, especially once we hit that level 6 mark. And Galio is able to follow any roam that the LeBlanc sets off. You do have Peel coming out from just the Ashe arrow in general. Volibear is obviously a tankier champion, so you're not going to necessarily be able to blow him up with those LeBlanc roams as well. So I think as long as Vici can get to that level 6 mark, they're probably fine.
They'll be looking for that level 6 mark, and they do spike exceptionally hard at level 6 with the Galio, with the Ashe as well. But Rogue Warriors also incredibly strong at that level 6 moment. I could see a lot of dragon fights happening this game. I could see a lot of brawls over the Herald. We'll have to wait and see as we head onto Summoner's Rift here. Vici Gaming looking to be a playoff team, and Rogue Warriors, they're just looking for a win.
Yep, and Rogue Warriors going back to that famous style of drafting all early game composition and really just hoping to get this game in sort of a coin flip state of, okay, maybe they can find some kind of huge explosive early game fight that nets them 3 or 4 kills and they try to snowball the game from there. And, you know, if they don't, it will be a bit rough. The thing I want to see is where do teams play around the map with the fact that we do have a Jayce on the map? Because we set up Vici will probably have a much easier time looking for these aggressive plays on bot since you do have the enchanted crystal arrow. But Jayce is a champion that does need a bit of babysitting, especially once him and Holder hit that level 6 mark, because if Holder comes back to lane full HP, has the Dominus, can just try to flash on top of Cube, and despite the fact he has phase rush, could be hard for him to get away.
Certainly could be, if they can chain that CC, if they can make that combo happen. And let's bear in mind that this Rogue Warriors strategy of just draft early game dominance every single game, it has worked in the past against teams like JDG is one of the wins that they got. They also picked up a win against OMG, but ultimately, those wins came from this kind of draft, came from this kind of strategy. So we'll see if Rogue Warriors can pull it on out. But there's a lot of pressure now on Vici Gaming. Not just because they're trying to find playoffs and all of that, but you don't want to be the first team that loses to Rogue Warriors either. This is a 0-7 team right now.
Yep, I did watch, was Yamato Cannon's media day after Sandbox's first win, and he said, you know, the most dangerous team is one that has nothing to lose, and that is definitely Rogue Warriors. They don't have anything to lose. You can see that just in their draft. The thing we really want to see from them is try to find either, you know, counter jungle attempts onto Luyen, or I'd even say roam spot from Ruby pre-6, because that's when he will be able to bully out the matchup in the mid lane.
We'll see how active we're going to see Luyen in that jungle. Obviously, he has the Volibear once again. This is very much a comfort pick for him. He's one of the few junglers in the LPL that likes it, but the level 2 spike from Rogue Warriors is going to force out Flash from Hung.
Yeah, and we don't typically see this level of aggression at level 2 in bot lane. really is dependent on mistakes like we just saw Hung. Obviously, not respecting that level 2 coming out. Trading an Ignite for a flash show is definitely worth.
And we see the power of the Ashe pick right there as Haro spotted out by the Hawk shot. So Lien has all of the information in the world to work with.
Yeah, this is another reason why we're such a big fan of the Ashe, right? It gives you so many productive options, even during, lull states of the game when there are no neutral objectives up. You constantly have vision of not just the enemy jungle, but how the enemy team is rotating, so it gives you more information on what plays you want to make.
So I'm a little curious about this jungle matchup specifically with, obviously, the Volibear coming through for Lien. It's Volibear jungle we've seen a lot, especially in other regions. But up against the Olaf specifically, it feels like one of the big strengths of Volibear is the ability to get that CC down in a gang. But Olaf obviously removes all CC. Does that give him some kind of advantage?
I would expect Olaf to come out ahead in the early 1v1. And when we're thinking about 2v2s, I definitely favor top for Rogue Warriors. When it comes to mid, I think it is a bit more skill dependent, right? Can Galio hit that kind of two-man taunt pre-6? Post-level 6, I think you're right, where you just use the Ragnarok as Haro, and Rogue Warriors should be able to come out ahead.
See, a lot of it is going to be on Haro's shoulders, and that's kind of true, honestly, of every single Rogue Warriors game we've seen recently. Haro seems like the driving force, not only in terms of when they've got wins recently, but also he's changed the face of this team. The start of this split did not look like the aggressive Rogue Warriors that we're seeing more recently.
No, that was, we saw Ruby going to that signature Azir, farming it up in the mid lane. Yodong pretty much picking Trundle every game, just waiting to get to those 5v5 team fights, which we saw almost work. I can't remember what their first series was, but I remember it went to a 50-minute slugfest where they almost pulled out a win. Actually, I think it was up against TS.
It was, yeah, it was. It was Top Esports. Yeah, their first game of the split. And it felt like maybe this was, this was the Top Esports that was hyped straight out of winning MSC. It was like, okay, maybe this is like an insane team. Maybe they've just evolved over the offseason. And then they lost 7 series in a row. So that hype died pretty quick after game number 1. But, these things happen. These things happen, especially in the LPL. But let's take a look at the lanes here and where we're standing right now, because Holder's doing a good job. Despite the early lane you'd expect to be pretty heavily in favor of Jayce up to the top side, he's doing a really good job of staying even in CS.
Yeah, did a good job of just pretty much punishing the mana bar from Cube. Staying relatively healthy, was clearly using that Q in strong ways. And it's also pretty interesting we see Cube take phase rush, because actually most LPL Jayces in this matchup do just take the Conqueror and try to come out ahead in those, more extended, sustained trades. But obviously once you hit that level 6 mark, it is still very dangerous to not have that phase rush, because, Jayce doesn't have an ultimate, Renekton obviously does, and we saw Zoom solo.
Hang on, we've got to fight in the bottom lane here. Root comes down, but it's Hung that's in trouble because it's a 2v3. Here comes Galio, though. It's a little bit late, but it's here in the end now. Trying to get a kill onto Haro. They're not quite going to be able to finish it off. Holder TP'd in as well. iBoy flashes away. ZWuJi doesn't quite have the damage.
Yeah, overall good play coming out from Rogue Warriors, and this is where we would expect them to come out ahead early on. We even said, right, Haro loves ganking bot lane. We see it almost every game. It's about setting ZWuJi and Lay up. Vici need to try to use those globals to find a numbers advantage first. They weren't able to do that, had to use it reactively, and now Rogue Warriors not only going to get a kill, also going to get the first Drake of the game.
Yeah, that got from 0 to 100 real quick. I'm amazed only 1 kill went down, because there was teleports galore being used. We saw Galio ulting down as well. Ultimately, it did go Rogue Warriors' way, and they're rewarded with a Drake as well.
Ooh, okay, nothing hitting from either side. But yeah, well, like we said, just Zeka not able to respond in time. Obviously, Lilian wasn't there either, so just Rogue Warriors do obviously have a ton of damage, a ton of burst with the Olaf and the Kalista, so very easy for them to just blow Hung up before Vici are able to do anything.
And it's worth mentioning as well that we get to see a little snippet of what Vici's comp wants to do there as well, because that Galio ult from Zeka stopped that from being an absolute disaster, right? If he couldn't get down there and defend his support at least a little bit, that could easily have been far more than just 1 kill for Rogue Warriors.
Yep, and for Rogue Warriors moving forward, I would expect their bot lane to swap for the Herald. They are going to be able to push this wave in, and we're only 30 seconds away from that 8-minute mark. And Rogue Warriors still want to keep forcing these early game fights, 4v4, 5v5, because they do have a ton of damage in this early game.
It's worth mentioning as well that they've got a little window right here where Galio doesn't have his ultimate. Ruby trading very aggressively. Ultimately, it is Galio, so it's kind of hard to get the damage to stick there in the mid lane. But still going to be abusing that matchup as Holder is in a 1v1. Gets a stun down onto Cube, but Cube chasing this one. Thundering Blow, just going to push him away at the end.
Yep, Holder obviously does still have Dominus and Flash, so not really in any threat of dying, but still, as Renekton, you want to go in for these really short, quick trades. You know, E in, throw down the Empower W or Q, E out, before Jayce has any time to respond.
Hang on, we've got a bit of a fight over the wards here as Cube wants to defend it. He doesn't know that Haro's on the way, though. Haro arriving on the scene. Bear in mind that ward was already disabled, so Haro's not been spotted just yet. Now he has been, though, because there's a Scuttle Crab. Lian is nearby.
Yeah, now it looks like Rogue Warriors are probably going to start up the Herald because we see ZWuJi and Lei making their way up towards topside.
Yeah, you can see the bot lane is moving already, and Rogue Warriors, once again, the ones starting to play off. And I'm curious if Vici will answer at all here. You can see the bot lane, though. I think they're just going to commit to staying on that bottom side of the map.
I don't think there's any reason to, right? Your Olaf is already starting to get ahead. You have the Kalista, like we talked about, Renekton as well. Going to be much stronger in these group skirmishes where he can use all of his AoE compared to the Jayce.
Haro is in a super awkward spot where he keeps dipping out of vision.
Oh,
Lian got it! He smite steals it away. I don't know if he'll actually be able to grab the eye for himself.
God.
He's going to try, though. Has his ultimate to get out if he needs to. Zeka's here as well. Cube positioning. Ruby and Holder are desperate to protect this, and in he goes. Lian grabs the eye of the Herald. He's got away with daylight robbery.
Yeah, Munch, that was a true sad mummy play. Like, I completely agree with Haro. That was so depressing.
Oh, God. That is, I don't know. I mean, it's not the end of the world, let's be honest. It's just a Rift Herald. Like, it's nice to have. It's not the end of the world, but it definitely slows things down for Rogue Warriors. When we're talking about how they need to play super fast pace, that's kind of a thorn in their side. Bit of a trade here. Holder gets completely denied by the Thundering Blow.
And Zeka has ultimate.
They also have a bear that wants to jump under that tower and ruin everything. I don't think they're going to commit to the play.
I actually think the Rift Herald mistake is pretty massive for Rogue Warriors because when you draft comps like this, one misstep is massive because, like, at the 20-minute mark, they truly need to be ahead like 3,000 or 4,000 gold. And having this snowball forward, if Vici stay even, Lo Yan's going to get to a point where he's going to be a lot more useful than Haro. Of course, Cube is going to start being able to bully in Holder once he gets his lethality items built. And Zeka has numerous ways to get on top of ZWuJi in the backline. And,
you know, you talk about leads in the lanes, you talk about getting ahead. Actually, Vici are the ones that are kind of winning that out right now. When you look at the AD carries, there's a CS lead for iBoy, who's about to receive a wave as well. He's got 29 stacks remaining on a Cole, not to mention. And then in the top lane, it's pretty much even, if not slightly favored to Cube. We've got an engage in the bottom side, though, as ZWuJi just gets jumped on by the bear.
Ooh.
Arrow flashed away from. Now the knockup comes out from Lei. Follows up with a hook as well. And Zeka, you're a little bit late on the play, mate.
that was actually really well played by ZWuJi, though.
Yeah.
He held that flash to the perfect time, flashed out of the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, and then even baiting out Zeka's ultimate was really nice to see.
Very nicely played by Rogue Warriors to survive the play. I would have loved to see Zeka go in a little bit earlier. I feel like he was trying to predict a counterplay.
I can understand why you wouldn't, though, right? Because you have the Kalista ult to pull out Lei, and he held onto that flash until the perfect moment. So I don't feel like Zeka would have been able to find a good ultimate. And even Haro and Ruby were actually playing around mid, trying to zone him off from making a play.
And you know what? This is perfect right now for Rogue Warriors, because ultimately, nobody died on the play. All you lost was your bot lane summoners, but all of the ultimates are on cooldown right now for Vici Gaming, so there's no way to contest for the second Drake. Two on the trot now for Rogue Warriors.
Yeah, Munchables, but...
I'm getting hyped.
But
getting hyped, Lyric.
Munchables, your first two Drakes are Ocean and Infernal. This is not what we want to see. We want this to be the third Drake. But now there's just going to be a Cloud Soul, and...
Look, all I'm saying is Olaf's going to get real quick. If they get a Cloud Soul, that is a scary Olaf.
That is true, and obviously...
I'm scared of Vikings at the best of times.
Oh my. Really? I mean, do Vikings have an important role in the UK history?
Yes.
Oh, I don't know, man. I'm just...
a big
I'm
role
just saying.
in basically the whole of European history.
I'm just saying, they don't teach us about the monarch in the States. Just, you know, the 4th of July...
This was long
the 4th of
before
July
the
was the
monarch.
other day.
Ah, yes. International Trade Today. Treason Day, sorry. Here we go. Leanne wants to make a play on the top side, drops that Herald, gonna funnel this gold into Cube. Doesn't have his ultimate right now, so they can't really commit to the dive. That tower's getting pretty low by itself.
I don't think you necessarily need to dive anyway, right? You're just trying to get more gold onto Cube so we can naturally bully out in this matchup. And the good thing for Cube on the Jayce is that you don't really have a lot of people who build armor on the side of Rogue Warriors.
Sorry. Holder just missed like 5 CS in a row. That's not actually important, but it was hilarious.
Yes, Holder missing CS.
Sorry, continue with your point, Lyric.
You know, I don't want to make my point anymore. I want to make a new point that Rogue Warriors bot lane coming back onto the map. Still no Blade of the Rune King, but this is where you'd expect Rogue Warriors to look next, right? We constantly see Ruby trying to bully out Zeka in the mid lane, and Haro and Ruby hovering towards that bot side.
Bot side might be the place here. Ultimates are really coming off cooldown once again for Vici as well.
The problem is it doesn't feel like there's a really easy way of Rogue Warriors to attack Vici, right? Because Zeka's always able to follow up with ultimate. Lil Yen now, since they just saw him on top side of the map, they know that he should be on the bottom half, and yeah. No very straightforward play to make. I guess as Haro now, you could try to go towards top side, but the fact that Zeka can always dissuade a dive is pretty massive.
Haro, I thought he was just going to run at Lil Yen there and try and find the 1v1. It's not going to happen here. But you're absolutely right. I mean, the Galio pick here for Zeka has been working wonders. We already saw it in that first bot lane play where obviously Rogue Warrior is still going to kill, but he was able to minimize the damage there. And we'll have to see where Rogue Warriors go next, because they do have a kill on ZWuJi, which is where you'd want that kill to be. But in terms of the gold, you can see it in the plates, but you can see it on the scoreboard. They're still even.
I do like what they're doing right now, though, where they're sending their bot lane mid, and they put Ruby in the bot lane because Ruby has TP, and Rift Herald is going to come up soon. So Rogue Warriors already signaling that they do want to fight for this next Rift Herald.
It's what we want to see out of them. And you can see Cube moving down to that bottom side to match Ruby as well, because he's going to be the guy that has TP available. And with Zeka in the top lane, he can just use his grand entrance to get into the fight. So Vici also signaling that, hey, they're not going to give this one up without a fight.
Yep, so we are going to get some action. Now Ruby is going to be able to follow without having to burn his TP, since he did go bot first, was able to get that wave push first. Potentially they can look for something on mid lane right here, since Ruby is here, but we do see iBoy and Hung hovering quite nicely towards Herald.
They're moving up here, and you can see Ruby has walked over so he can save that teleport. Holder dodges away from the taunt coming out from Zeka here. So Herald, I think, is about to reset, so everything kind of delayed for now. TP used by Cube as Rogue Warriors try find an initiation here. They're onto Hung over the wall. Are they going to... Whoa! Where did he go? Ruby with a magic trick makes Hung disappear. Now Rogue Warriors in position to win out this fight. Dominus available, so Holder's going to be fine. Out goes Lien, and in goes Zeka, but has to retreat immediately. Flash from Lei! And this is what we said on the Thresh pick, making things happen for Rogue Warriors. The Herald is theirs.
And you would think that this Galio pick would be positioned to do pretty well in these fights, right? All of Rogue Warriors wants to run forward, so should be able to hit 3 or 4 man ultimate theoretically. But Ruby never even gave them a chance, completely making Hung disappear off the map. Already a 5v4 to begin with, and Rogue Warriors easily able to clean up the fight and now get the Herald.
You know, I've never been sure about, though. Hang on, we got a fight in the mid lane here. iBoy getting stacked up on, but he's already managed to find himself a kill there. Hung the one to get the credit as Cube. Has to be careful, but Ruby misses everything. It's just going to be a kill onto ZWuJi. I'm not sure why he was there.
We did not see what happened, but yep, ZWuJi is dead. Now the map state is reset as I am doing some play-by-play for some reason.
Tell me about the ability names, Lyric.
I have no idea. Distortion, Mimic,
nice.
Ethereal Chain, Sigil of Mounts.
Ethereal Chain.
Oh, is it? Oh, is that how you pronounce that? I thought it was Ethereal.
Ethereal. Oh. Or at least it is in English. I don't know about American English. There's a lot of words that I'm discovering I don't know how to say as well.
So now we see that Rogue Warriors aren't in position on the map to contest the Drake, so I expect him to just go towards topside and drop the Herald, but for some reason Holder just recalled, so actually they're going to get nothing. They're giving up this dragon for free. I guess it does go back to the fact that Vici found the kill on the ZWuJi, so there was no way for Rogue Warriors to get map pressure to contest this Drake.
Yeah, it was like, great, they get a huge tempo swing in their favor off the Herald, and then suddenly they lose an AD carry. Oh, so they tried to make a pick.
Yeah, so we see them go in. Huh. Oh, just
how did they lose that?
I mean,
I guess cute, but
overall good flash coming out from Hung as well. Good ultimate.
That felt like iBoy was kind of winning, though, honestly, in the 1v1.
It did feel like iBoy
I don't
was
think
winning.
Ashe is meant to win that.
I mean, he did have his Ren still, but...
He used the Ren right at the end. It didn't do that much. Ren kind of sucks, man. I don't know. I played a lot of Kalista recently, and it doesn't matter how many stacks you have, they will survive on 1 HP every single time.
Hey, but we're going to see here...
No, we're not.
We're
not
gonna see
see anything. Haro charges, one more auto, the tower goes down. Nicely done there by Ruby. Vici wanted to force the play, but iBoy, maybe not as accurate as you'd want a marksman to be.
Man, I at least like what Rogue Warriors are trying to do right. Get on the map first, push out sides, rotate towards mid, drop the Herald, and so they do secure first turret, do have a bit of a gold lead, and now you expect it to be very much the same thing, right? Trying to play around the pressure that Ruby can generate on a side, move over first, and try to find a pick like he did on Hung earlier.
They could try and find a pick onto Holder right now, who's pretty far out of the lane, and Hung and Lian are moving up. Holder respects it, though, gets back to his tower. That tower is not that much of a defense, though, right now. It's not got much HP remaining on it. Zeka has been able to match Ruby down in this bottom side of the map as well. Dodges the chains, and we'll be able to just clear the wave. And that's the power of the Protobelt right there. The wave is gone.
Yep, and I like what you said going back to that top turret. Honestly, Munch, that top turret is a mirage. It's a lie. It doesn't give you any safety. It's just false. It doesn't exist in our reality. Vici are going to drop it any time, so I'd actually prefer to just see Holder back off, start hovering over towards mid lane, and be prepared to support any potential play that Rogue Warriors are going to make on the opposite side of the map.
Just abandon ship up there. It's the island in the middle of the ocean that doesn't actually exist. You think you see it on the horizon, but it turns out you've just been playing too much Sea of Thieves. Well, it is going to be the tower going down in the bottom side in favor of Rogue Warriors, and in the meantime, Vici will be able to match that with that tower we were just talking about in the top side as well. So it is still going to be Rogue Warriors with the advantages here. They've got a small gold lead for themselves. They've got a tower ahead. They've got 2 Drakes ahead. Next Drake not up for another 2 minutes, though.
Yeah, and we're going to see the teams play out in very opposite ways, to where Rogue Warriors are going to keep doing what they just did, have Ruby in that side lane, have Haro and potentially Lei hovering over so he can, do any damage freely, get pressure on this turret, and even move over if they do notice an opening on the map for him to create a pick in mid. And for Vici, it's going to be the same thing, but on the opposite side, for Cube. They want Cube to continuously pressure in this 1v1. Obviously, he's very strong with that Ghost Blade, and even working his way up to a Black Cleaver.
So I want to ask you here, Lyric. I want to kind of pick your brain in a second, because we talked about the Rogue Warriors composition being all in on the early game. At what point does that early game end? At what point is it just too late for Rogue Warriors composition?
Surprisingly, I feel like they'll actually have a pretty decent window before they just start hard losing. Maybe around the 3-item mark, where Zeka and Lo Yen should just be too tanky for Ruby to deal with. Holder will start falling off as well. Didn't go the Blade of the Rune King route because, most Renektons don't go Blade of the Rune King here in the LPL for some reason.
Why is that? Do you have any idea? Or is this just an LPL
They
thing?
don't like to win lane and actually add some scaling element to their composition. I'm going to assume they want, the faster cooldown, also, a bit more HP and, in theory, be stronger in team fights faster.
So there are benefits to the Black Cleaver build. It's not just memes.
Yeah.
I guess not. I guess not. By the look in your face, I'm saying that there is no benefit to go for. If you're playing solo queue, build Blade of the Rune King, please. Lyric will be very disappointed if you don't.
True.
It doesn't matter what champion.
I mean, I feel like that's going a bit too far, but yeah, overall, I feel like this game will start swinging once the not the key members, but the obvious members of Vici will be too tanky for the early game burst-oriented champions of Rogue Warriors to burst out.
Yeah. I mean, we saw that burst firsthand when Ruby just one-shot Hung. Speaking of Hung, he's been hooked in the bottom lane. Does have a stone plate this time, so he can survive way longer, and maybe things have already turned around. Rogue Warriors being forced back in the fight. Lei goes in, but he's forced to flash out immediately. But they are turning things around. Holder flashes over the wall. Zeka's low, but that Sonya's going to keep him safe. Everybody walks away from this one, but Vici claimed the drag.
Well, Munch, we already got a little taste of it. Like you mentioned, the stone plate on Hung already making him harder to burst out. And once Rogue Warriors start all their combos,
they want to go for this one. The dragon is taken, but iBoy stuck in the back of the pit. Still haven't. I wasn't sure if he was going to flash or just fight them right there. Cube forced away. They get away with it in the end. It just costs a couple of summons.
And we're on the way to Vici just stacking up for Cloud, so we're going to see Ashe and Galio Ultimate off cooldown. It's going to be pretty fun.
Yeah, we're going to see them have the ability to just force anything, anytime, and then be really fast when they do it too. So that's great. What an underwhelming soul. Like, comparatively to the other 3 souls, how pitiful is the Cloud
You're trying
soul?
so hard to sell it to me right now, and I'm just...
It's just so...
You are not a good Cloud salesman.
I'm not trying to be. If you tell me to sell Cloud, I'll say no. I will turn that commission down. I'm not a dishonest salesman.
I mean, then I feel like you're just not a salesman at all, right? Can you be a salesman without being dishonest? I mean, I guess logically...
Depends how good the product is.
I was going to say, I guess logically, yes, but...
But at the same time, no.
No way.
Keeps pushing out this bottom lane. I wasn't sure if Ruby was going to try and make a play onto him. Ruby's been a little bit quiet on this LeBlanc. Considering the early lead that he found for himself, considering the fact that he's on a massive power spike when it comes to items, as if by magic, as soon as I say it, he tries to make a play, but Lian, he's getting pretty tanky right now. We've got to play onto Zeka in the meantime up on the top side of the map. He's just eradicated.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair to your last point, Ruby has been trying to make plays happen, and Rogue Warriors actually switching it up. They were playing around Ruby in a side lane before while having their bot lane answer waves at mid. Switching it up this time, committing 4 men top. Zeka just overextending a bit, and great play coming out from Rogue Warriors.
Speaking of which, they're going to stop Baron. Which, I mean, hey, they got Zeka, right? This is an opportunity. He has TP up in 15 seconds when he respawns, but Lei finds yet another hook. That arrow is on another planet right now as they go straight onto Lian. He will be shut down by ZWuJi here. And Rogue Warriors, they can just rinse and repeat.
Exactly, that's all they wanted. It was never about the Baron. If Vici don't find out and you get it because you have a Kalista, that's amazing. But it's just about bringing Vici in and continuing to get these kills.
Ruby can just look for picks here, look for snipes as Vici have to move in as a 4. Oh, it's a hook onto the 80 carry. Goodbye, Vici. Rogue Warriors making the fight happen. In the meantime, Zeka just running interference at the back line, dodges the axe, and that means he's not slowed, but in goes Lei. Hook goes wide. And we reset once more.
Yep, we're going to see it once again, Munchables, because guess what? iBoy's not up. Oh, they're actually going to respect this time. Their health bars are, you know, about 50% HP, but knowing Rogue Warriors, I thought they would have gone for it.
You know, I feel like this game, especially in the early game, was way slower than I was expecting it to be. And now we're starting to see them really pull the trigger on the ways that they can force fights.
Right, like, when you look at these drafts, you thought it'd be about Rogue Warriors getting, like, pick after pick, kill after kill. But it really has been more about these big, like, team fight moments, which is pretty surprising because when you think of that, you would expect that Vici would either come out ahead or at least be able to disengage and not lose out on anything.
It's worth mentioning as well that when you look at Vici's composition, it's actually a lot about being the ones to force the fight, right? They actually don't do that well if they're being forced onto.
The thing that's decent for them, right, is that you do have... Ooh, you have Hung getting caught out again.
That ain't the place to be, Hung. He's going to go down. Another kill to ZWuJi as well.
Hey, coming into this game, we said this guy's known for his, you know, more protection, defensive-based supports. He plays Taric well, plays a great Braum, plays a great Tahm Kench. Outside of that, it's a little bit rough.
Yeah, but then you also have to bring into question here, that was a positioning issue. That was nothing to do with Nautilus.
Oh, true. That
was just like, I don't know why you're there alone at this point in the game. You know they want the Baron. They've just spent the last 5 minutes proving that. And now they're going to do the exact same. They found a pick, they start the Baron. And iBoy, you gotta hit an arrow, man. This is disastrous so far. Another hook from Lei. This time it's onto Zeka, but he answers with his own life. Should be able to get the trade as Cube tries to walk on forwards. Holder keeping everyone at bay. Zeka barely getting away with his life. ZWuJi wants to chase it. Will finish the kill off in the end. Holder in the meantime get pushed back by Cube. ZWuJi's in trouble as Lian got onto him. And iBoy wants to redeem himself. Looking for Ruby now as the clone distracting everyone. But Vici finally find a fight.
Yeah, Vici coming out ahead, and this was actually going back to the point you made before. I was going to say, you would think Vici feel fine with Rogue Warriors running into them when you have Galio taunt to dissuade anything. You're obviously jumping into a big, massive, tanky bear that also has a ton of base stats and would have a great time bursting out. If iBoy held the arrow instead of trying to create an aggressive pick, you also have that if Ruby jumps in.
And now, on top of all of that, they've got another dragon for themselves. This is Mortal CDR, and it's one step closer to that Cloud Soul that we discussed earlier. Not the most exciting soul, but hey, it's a step closer to Elder Drake. It's a step closer to win condition.
And I want to see if they're going to keep it on iBoy. Darn. I was going to say, we can see what his ult cooldown is going to be at this point, but yeah, iBoy just continuously whipping arrows where I feel like you can hold that and wait for Rogue Warriors to come in onto you. We see Lei find a good hook, but gets burst down pretty much instantly. iBoy dealing a tremendous amount of DPS. Haro trying to zone off Cube. Zeka really low from that initial play of dissuading the pick coming out from Lei. And here we just see Luoyan chasing down ZWuJi, and you know, no one wants to be running from this massive bear, and great job from Vici.
And this, hang on, we got yet another fight. There's no time for this one as Luoyan hooked in and goes down. This is very back and forth all of a sudden. Vici find themselves one fight and then fall for the exact same trap they've been falling for all game.
Yeah, we keep seeing Vici get picked off and not coming together in these types of 5v5s that we want. Like we just saw, right, where you have the Galio, you have the Volibear to dissuade, and you think they shouldn't get picked off when they have that Hawk shot also able to come out from Ashe.
Yeah, this is not a good look for Vici right here. Rogue Warriors are getting low though, and iBoy is feeling it right now, getting real aggressive on the Ashe, and he has the damage. That's the kind of arrow we've been looking for, followed up with a taunt, and the rest of the team funnels on in. ZWuJi can't escape as iBoy flashes forward. He wants more. Double kill for Zeka. They've just got to finish off Ruby, but you know what? You can get away with this one, Ruby. We don't care. Vici want the Baron.
And that one was much better played from Vici. We saw Rogue Warriors once again get a pick, have the numbers advantage, but they all group up together, right? They have Zeka there, they have Hung there, and it makes it really awkward for Ruby to jump in.
Oh, come on, Hung.
Hung is not having a good game.
There's like no pressure from anyone to be there. There is no reason for that. In comes Ruby, wants a pick, will find one for himself. Is it worth? I don't know. I guess he got a shutdown.
To be fair, I think Ruby and Lei have been the better performing members this game for Rogue Warriors. We've seen ZWuJi make some mistakes. Holder has been a bit of a non-factor. I guess his presence has been a factor, but even here in this fight, we see him use the dominance, but Rogue Warriors actually don't have a great way to jump on top of Vici. They burst down Holder right away. Cube with a really aggressive flash coming out as well. Really nice to see from him, and then Vici able to secure all these kills, so then going to be able to pick up that Baron.
You know, I was worried that we'd kind of missold this game, that Rogue Warriors were going to play this slow, patient style at the end. But actually, as soon as Baron has been on the map, they're just like, here's a way to get a pick, here's a way to get a fight, and now Vici firing back as well. And the one thing that we never criticize for iBoy is his positioning during these team fights. He always looks amazing, and Ashe is the perfect AD carry for that style.
Yep, his positioning to deal the max amount of DPS has been great. We can see why he's a Kalista player. His ultimates, though,
leaving something to be desired.
Yeah, I mean, once again, you can see why he's a Kalista player.
Someone else does the ultimate for you.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't have to worry about that side of things.
But yeah, it was great to see how Rogue Warriors had, like, I don't want to keep using the word confidence, but felt good to use the Baron as a bait tool to keep fighting these picks, because we see a lot of teams in LPL very apprehensive to do that, because it could happen like what we just saw where then Vici come on ahead and now they're the ones that end up with the Baron. But overall, it was just a matter of time before Vici realized, hey, as long as we stay pretty closely grouped up and, you know, no one like Hung is caught out alone by a Thresh, that we're going to come out ahead in these fights.
This is not going to stop anytime soon. Straight onto Zeka. Onto iBoy as well. You cannot stop this Viking. Charging through the rest of the team now as Ruby barely gets away with his life. Ruby is just going to survive. That's a clone I'm looking at, but Luoyan trying to get onto the backline. ZWuJi survives as well. Triple kill on the Kalista. Make it a quadra.
Munchables, I just said that Vici had finally figured out they just got to stay grouped on top of each other and Rogue Warriors can't jump in. That way we saw them going two different ways, two members heading towards River, and obviously iBoy singled out alone in the lane. Everyone able to just get on top of him, and Rogue Warriors keeping this game competitive.
You know what? They may be inconsistent. They may not have a series in the LPL yet, but I love watching Rogue Warriors, and Lei is so willing to just blow everything in search of a pick.
You know, we talked before this series, we were both sure this would go into 3 games, and watching this game, I'm still sure this is going to 3 games.
Yeah, I don't see a way that this is a 2-0, because Rogue Warriors now, they find themselves an inhib turret. They won't get the inhib, but they have to reset, because the Drake's coming up. Look at the, I mean, just look at that goal graph. Doesn't that just say everything about this game?
Yes, it does, and I mean, Vici still have a Baron. I wouldn't expect it to be on for too much longer, but looks like they want to use it to at least guarantee. Okay, so it's actually already gone. They want it. push down mid, guarantee some pressure, and then be the ones to pick up this 4th cloud.
This would be Soul for Vici Gaming, so they'll move real quick. I'm just saying, there is movement speed there. But realistically, they want that ult CDR. They just want to get themselves so that that Elder Drake is a potential win condition. Ruby wants to answer, but hooked up and blown up by the side of Vici. They get the soul, and they might just find themselves a fight as well. Now onto Holder as he's CC'd and taken down. Vici yet again find themselves a fight.
Munchables, that's how I've wanted to see iBoy use that ultimate this whole time. Wait for Rogue Warriors to walk up to you. Rogue Warriors are going to run into you.
Lian can't quite find a bonus pick there. But Haro and Lei are on the wrong side of the map. There is no way that this story ends in a good way for Rogue Warriors. They're just trying to survive, but I don't know if you want to survive, because the rest of the team is already going to be dying here. Lei goes down. It's going to be Haro actually flashing away with his life here, but Lian can chase him. He's a big old bear. Cube should be here to pick up the kill. Maybe even give it to iBoy. You can give it to whoever you want. It's a free kill.
I mean, when you have iBoy on a roster with a bunch of young players, it is definitely going to iBoy.
Yeah, that's true. I could see that. But hey, yet again, we see this go pear-shaped. Yet again, we see the scoreboard bounce between these two teams. This is chaos, Lyric.
Vici with the minus 800 gold Baron play. That's what we like to see.
That is the epitome of what has been happening so far this game. But once again, gold is pretty much even.
And here we see Ruby walk up. They finally realize, hey, we just use all of our CC when they come into us. Was Ruby going a bit too far forward on his own, obviously. They then get a hold of Holder and secure these easy 2 kills. And now, like you said, they have Soul. Great for them to have 4 clouds. And I love the fact that you mentioned it also opens up Elder. Because for whoever secures Elder, it feels like this game's going to be pretty done and dusted. At least at that point, it should be.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the gold, we're at 35 minutes. 1,000 gold lead doesn't matter at all. The fact it's a Cloud Soul means that doesn't really matter that much either. So we're just down to mechanics now. We're down to who can execute these team fights. And we've seen these fights go both ways so far this game. Cube with an Edge of Night, so he can play a little bit more aggressively. Not anymore, though, because Ruby's made short work of that.
Yeah, and Ruby at this point isn't having really any great options. You look at Lian's build is extremely tanky. Galio, of course, as well. He has Zanya's. Also has all the MR just coming in from his kit. Ashe making her way towards the Death Stance. We already saw what happens when he tried to get on Hung earlier.
Lei wanted to make a play here, but Shirelia's not quite going to be enough to close the gap. Haro wants to find a flank. Baron's coming up in 10 seconds, and Rogue Warriors feel like they have to be the ones to make a way in here. Arrow goes wide once again. Hung takes a bit of damage, but Rogue Warriors won't commit to anything just yet. iBoy now on the chase as he's trying to get onto Lei, misses the hook, and in comes the Galio ult as well. Holden turns himself golden to keep himself alive, and they get straight onto ZWuJi. It's Lian trying to shut down the Kalista, puts him into the GA. iBoy surviving, but now goes down, and Lian can't do enough damage on the backline. Hung's there alongside him, but they're tanky. They don't do anything to the carry. ZWuJi gets another one, and Zeka, the last man standing. Lei, though, is in a 1v1 against the mid laner. Somehow Zeka's turned it around.
Yeah, but now Rogue Warriors are going to be able to walk forward and secure an inhibitor.
What is going on?
They're actually not. They're going to go for Baron.
They're going to try and two-man Baron. Bear in mind, Zeka's still up, and he already went for 1-2v1. He's happy to go for it again.
But we saw with that fight, Munchables, every time Vici try to be the aggressors, they lose. Every time it's the opposite. Every time they let Rogue Warriors come into them is when they're coming out ahead.
And let's bear in mind, they were the ones on Baron. They were the ones with vision control. They were the ones in the best spot. But they were, I think, scared that Rogue Warriors would just run towards that inhibitor.
We're going to see Zeka. Okay, well, Zeka can't just sway them. Both of them too afraid.
Doesn't even have to go for the 1v2. Just the teleport alone is enough to force them away here. And ZWuJi just has to settle for a red buff. And unfortunately for Rogue Warriors, they had an opportunity there to just get a mid lane inhibitor. There was nothing that Zeka would have been able to do about that. But instead, they went for a Baron. And now they get nothing.
This is peak LPL League of Legends.
It really is.
That's why we are all happy to be here.
And you know what? I'm not here because I want to watch Perfect Macro. I'm here because I want to watch a brawl, and that is exactly what we are getting. And you know what? Maybe it's not perfect play, but that's okay with me. Straight onto Lian here, but Ruby just getting a bit of poke down.
Look, Munchables, no one watches LPL. Okay, maybe some people actually do watch LPL for the best League of Legends. But let's be honest, most of us watch LPL for the most fun League of Legends. And that's what you're getting in this game, kind of. I mean, it's actually not as, like, fast-paced. It's just really explosive.
I mean, yeah, since, like, the, I guess, 25-minute mark, it's been pretty fast-paced. We've had fight after fight after fight. We could have another one on the cusp of happening here. Baron is up. Elder's up in a minute and 10 seconds. There is plenty to fight for.
And we are A-ramming.
We always are. It's a hook onto Lien. You know, he's not that afraid. He's definitely a target that Vici would love for them to focus
And we
on.
see that Vici have control of the top wave. It is actually pushing into Rogue Warriors' top turret. But on the opposite side of the map, Rogue Warriors have that pressure as well. Both teams just ignoring now, and it's becoming just a game of chicken.
Well, Lei ain't a chicken. He's going straight into the fight here. Keeps himself alive. Is Holder trying to get onto the backline as well. But it's Vici that are winning things out. Ultimate denied. Nice bit of CC there from the Fate's Call. iBoy desperately running away, but he's chopped down by a Viking. And in the meantime, he's been obliterated by Rogue Warriors. Now they can go for that mid lane inhibitor finally.
Yeah, and Rogue Warriors finally actually getting the engage, and Vici surprisingly not able to come out ahead. They deleted iBoy pretty early on. Cube got forced out of the fight as well, and that's going to lead to that inhibitor like you're talking about. They can even try to turn it into something like an Elder, but they want to go for the end.
They just want to try and finish things off right here. They've got a TP to keep the cannon alive. Cube has to make miracles happen. He's one against the world right now, but he'll be CC'd up by Lei. Has a stopwatch to keep himself alive, at least for now, but they can just focus on the Nexus. Cube's already gone. The dead timers are plentiful, and Rogue Warriors find themselves game number 1 against Vici Gaming.
Yeah, Rogue Warriors coming out, just continuously brawling against Vici.